Hi, moms. Welcome to Wire Talk. Today, we're going to dive into discussion about in-laws and extended family. And I think this is going to be perfect timing as we head into the holidays. So we're going to answer questions from moms talking about how do we share, how do we handle hard situations, and things of that nature. So let's dive in. It's going to be great.
Well, hello, moms, and welcome to Wire Talk. Thank you for joining us. And today is, well, we're not recording on Halloween, but today, when it's aired, it will be Halloween.
Oh, yeah.
So that's kind of fun.
Trick or treat.
Trick or treat.
Yes.
So that's fun.
What are the kids going to be?
Well, Harper has decided she wants to be a butterfly, a princess, and a police officer all in one. So I don't really know.
Or, you could just swap every 15 minutes.
Yeah, so we haven't really nailed down our costume yet.
And what about Grayson?
Grayson wants to be a firefighter.
Oh, well, that's adorable because he loves the Rio Rios.
He loves the Rio Rios. So,
and then I think Kelsey's family's going to be Little Red Riding Hood is Evie, and then the boys are going to be the
Wolves, and Kelsey is
the Granny.
Yeah, I think so. So it'll be so fun.
And then Kevin's going to be the Lumberjack.
I love it. So
that is so cute.
Question for all you guys: are you guys make your costumes? Last minute costumes or plan ahead, got it all?
Yeah, is it a big ordeal? Do you go as a family? Do you go individual?
I know.
We hardly ever, I think we went as a family once.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah, that's because it hardly ever happened.
Honestly, you were the last minute costumer.
100%.
And I think we became like.
Whatever you could get out of the closet.
I was a cowgirl several years. I think I was Minnie Mouse one year. I mean, a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
But Katie, the producer of the podcast.
She goes all out.
She goes all out.
And it's amazing. I love to watch what they're going to be.
And I'm like, ooh, what is she going to be? So, because it's like, she doesn't tell anybody.
No, and it's a family ordeal. Like they are all in.
And they hand make their costumes. Yeah. It's amazing. It truly is amazing. So, truly. Katie, we are very excited to see what you're going to be trick-or-treating as. And I love it. So fun. So, well, today we are going to be talking about something that applies to every mom.
Yep.
Doesn't matter if you've been married for 5 years, 10 years, 15, 1, 25.
It doesn't even matter if you're a single mom. You still have to deal with these issues.
Drum roll. It's in-laws.
The in-law dynamics.
The in-law dynamics. So can't wait to dive in.
Yes, let's do it.
See what we got to uncover and see what these mamas got to say.
What are the questions?
Let's hear the questions?
Start us off.
Question 1. We typically invite both sides of our family to kids' birthday parties. Ever since our youngest was born, my husband's parents and grandparents bring a gift for the sibling that is not having a birthday. I didn't like it from the start, but we have just dealt with it. We've tried to drop hints to take the present and subtly give it to the other sibling after the birthday child opens their gifts. But my husband's grandfather, a very active 86-year-old, is very insistent about giving the gift himself. Our kids are now asking where is the gift at other people's birthdays. Please help. I'm a red and I'm aware I like control. My husband just wants peace, so he hasn't cared. But the kids asking, where's my gift at the last few birthday parties for other people got his attention. Thank you for your wisdom and advice.
This is a hard one.
Mm-hmm.
And it did happen to me, not with the in-laws, but other family members that would bring a gift to one of y'all's birthdays. And it's hard because you want the birthday boy, the birthday girl to be the one that's celebrated.
You want them to feel special.
Yeah, their special day, and they don't have to share it with anybody unless they're a twin. So it can be hard.
Yeah.
And especially with I love this, a very active 86-year-old. And I did write this mama back whenever she wrote in her question a few months ago. And I just said, look, this is a hard one because he's family, number one. And number two, he's 86 years old. So you really cannot teach an old dog new tricks.
Yeah.
And the thing about an 86-year-old, they don't care at that point in their life. They're like, what are you going to do? I don't have that many years left on this earth, so I'm doing what I want. So you can just forget about it and get over it. So I think I would just handle it with your 4 and 6-year-old. And I would just say, hey, listen, this is a one-time thing. Grandpa gives you these gifts because he's older and he wants every birthday to be celebrated for everyone. So, but that only happens with him. So you don't get gifts. And tell them this before they go to the party. We're going to go. We're going to celebrate Sam. We're going to celebrate Sally today. And you will not be getting a gift. You'll be getting a little thank you gift for attending like a party favor. And that will be it. You'll have cake. You'll have ice cream. You're going to play. You're going to have a great time. But no gifts.
No gifts for you.
No gifts for you. That's how I'd handle it.
Yeah. What about, I mean, that's pretty black and white on that one.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I just don't think she's going to be able to solve it with her 86-year-old grandfather.
Do you have a practical tip to encourage this mom and other moms who have the same issue?
Absolutely. I would just, like I said, before they go to these parties, I just let them know, hey, we're going to be celebrating whoever today. It's not you. You get your birthday once a year. We're going to let them have their day and no gifts.
No gifts. Set those expectations before they even get to the party.
That's right.
All right. Question number 2. How can I handle unsolicited advice or criticism from my in-laws without causing tension or resentment?
That's a hard one, too. I would encourage your husband to have a word in parentheses with his parents. And I would just say, honey, you just need to handle this because it's just really going to be awkward if I try to take care of it. And even if I do, they're not going to receive it well. So would you please handle this? And if he won't, then I would just, my response to the parents would be is, thank you so much for your advice. I'll keep that in mind as I'm parenting the kids or whatever, and I'll think about it.
Yeah.
Just try to slough it off because honestly, you know, when it's unsolicited like that, it's just a hard thing to combat. And as a mom, don't take it personally.
Yeah.
They think they're helping and they don't realize that it's actually adding more. It's not frustration. It's adding more. What is the word I'm looking for, Emily? Help me out.
Well, I think anytime you get unsolicited, that's a hard word for me to say. Unsolicited advice, you're already aware of the issue.
Right.
And so you're like, oh, I already know they're struggling with this or this. And then somebody else is giving you advice and you're like, it's like you're seeing something I'm working on and it's just kind of discouraging, like, I know I'm already struggling with this, and you're already self-conscious and you're already aware, and then they bring it up and you're like, okay, I know, okay, I didn't do well today. So I don't really know what the word would that be.
Maybe it's anxiety. It just brings a more anxiety of I'm not doing a good job.
Yeah.
And as a mom. And that's the other thing I would let your in-laws know or your own family. And I would just say, hey, I'm doing the best I can. Like I see it. I'm working on it. Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah.
Let's say that. Let's let that be our one practical thing. Rome wasn't built in a day. So I'd even told my father this at one point with Kelsey. I said, whenever I get to the end of her 18 years underneath my roof, then you can give me an assessment. But while she's 2, and we just traveled 10 hours to get here, and she's very tired and ornery and all that, let's just hold off, please, Dad, on your assessment of how I'm doing in my parenting.
Give me a little bit of grace.
I need a little grace.
Who doesn't need grace?
That's right.
So that's a good, be polite, but Rome wasn't built in a day. Wow, in sync.
Jinx.
That was amazing.
Was it,
gosh.
Emily?
Oh my goodness. All right.
We are a little punch happy because we've been doing this since 9.
But we also got Mexican. We got a Coke.
Yes.
We're doing good.
We got a little juice in us.
Yes.
So we're good.
We're good. Yeah. All right. Question number 3. Can you give any advice on how to deal with in-laws that have very different Christian convictions as you do? I live far away from my family, but I live in the same town as my husband's family. While we are very much on the same page with our faith practice, we walk very differently from his parents and from his other siblings. As a mom of 3 young kids, I struggle with how to best interact with them. The differences in their lives are causing our children to question things. Any advice on how to overcome the frustrations between the differences in convictions and still being a godly daughter-in-law and sister-in-law?
Oh, thank you for writing in your questions. And this is the thing, family can be tricky, you know, and whenever you disagree on a certain topic, honestly, my philosophy with my parents anyways was I would just be like, Mom, Dad, we're going to have to agree to disagree.
That's a good choice.
And I love you and I really do respect your opinion. I just happen to have a different opinion about this topic. And I just think you have to be as respectful as you can, but you also need to sort of stand your ground and realize that you're probably not going to change their way of thinking, and that's okay. Like, let them believe what they want to believe and you believe what you want to believe. Then side of all of that, pull your kids aside at a later date and just say, hey, Grandma, Grandpa was telling you this. This is what I believe. But, don't listen to me. Don't listen to Grandma, Grandpa. Go to the Bible and look for yourself. And let's go to the Bible together. Let's try to go and figure out what God says about this, what Jesus says about this topic. And let's see what he says. And the other thing, I think prayer is always useful and effective. And I would just pray that God would open up your heart and your mind towards your in-laws and their side of things. And I would just say, God, if there's anything in the way that's keeping me from the truth, show me. Mm-hmm. I really want to know. And if I'm in the wrong, that's 100%, just show me. But I need you to be showing me, Lord, and just know and teach your children. We can agree to disagree and still have a loving relationship with other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love how you said to pull them back into the word and just say, let's see what God says about it, because
absolutely, because ultimately he's the authority.
He's the authority.
And it's easy to sometimes Greg and I can be saying the exact same thing just in different ways.
Oh.
And it's like we're disagreeing, but we're really not. It's just semantics.
Yes.
And so I have to tell Greg, I think we're sort of agreeing on this, is we're just saying it in a different way.
Yes.
So, yeah.
That happens a lot. With Brian and I, too. We were literally just in Disney, and he was saying this, and I was saying this, and I was getting frustrated. And he said, Emily, we're saying the same exact thing, just in a little bit different way.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
Okay.
But I just wanted to be heard.
Of course. We all want to be heard.
Yeah. Anyways, moving right along.
Mm-hmm.
What would your practical tip be for this sweet mama?
I would just say pray for wisdom and love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with that.
And also just keep in mind, whenever they're pushing against something that you believe is firmly in the Bible, they're not really pushing against you. Your struggle is not against flesh and blood. It's a spiritual struggle. So just realize they're really pushing against Jesus that's in you.
That's a really good way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks for that, Mom.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I needed that.
I'm here to help.
Yeah, thanks. Question 4. Can you share tips for balancing time between my own family and spending time with my in-laws, especially with the holidays coming up?
Oh, that's a great question. Mm-hmm. So, okay, I think you need to get together with your spouse and you need to decide, all right, what do we want for our family? And you need to have this discussion every few years, because as your children grow, then things change. If they get bicycles one year, they're going to want to wake up and be able to ride their bicycles. Mm-hmm. One year, y'all got a bicycle, and we had to just have a picture of it, and you can see it whenever you get back to Georgia. And that wasn't fun. It's better to wake up and have the bicycle, and you can go ride it right after you open it. That's the best thing. So, but you need to decide with your spouse, like, what do we want? What do we want? What's the best for our family? Not what's the best for our parents, what's the best for cousins, what's the best for us? And then he needs to tell his parents, you need to tell your parents, and y'all need to stick together on it, sort of lock arms, like, this is our plan. And this, if it doesn't work, we can reevaluate after this year, but we're going to try this out. And then to make things fair, we always tried to make things fair, but as you guys got older, it got really difficult because y'all wanted to wake up in your own rooms. Y'all wanted to be with your friends, to get together with afterwards, to show everybody all your toys and play in the neighborhood and all that. So it was just really hard.
Yeah.
And so I think Greg's parents, grandmother and granddaddy, ended up getting the short end of that stick because we lived closer to my parents. But I will say, whenever we would go down to Statesboro, we were completely dialed in to them. We spent the night. We stayed several days.
It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. We may not have been there right on Christmas Day, but we were there a few days before, a few days after, and we were completely dialed in 24/7. Whereas my parents, we would go do the unwrapping of the gifts, have the meal, and then we'd go back to our house. So if you sort of balanced it out, if you looked at it standing back, it did balance itself out.
Yeah.
Mom and Dad may have gotten us on Christmas Day and Christmas Eve, But grandmother and granddaddy got us for a lot longer period of time, more hours. So, but we just did the best we could. And grandmother and granddaddy were always great about it. And they would just come when you can. We understand. Don't stress about us. So they really had a good attitude.
This was one of the things, and still is a big discussion between Brian and I. And this was, I feel like in marriage, you always have not one thing, but a couple things that are the same argument over and over again. And it came to a point where we had to go to counseling. Yeah. We needed somebody who was unbiased, who wasn't trying to
didn't have a dog in
the fight. And it was the best thing for our marriage.
Yeah.
It was the best thing for our marriage. We went to a counselor and she just kind of helped us work through it. And she gave us some really good tips. And she also said, if you pick something for 1 year and it doesn't work, you don't have to do it forever. And for me, I was like, freeing. Oh, my goodness, that was so great. And she also said, have the conversations about Christmas, not in December.
Right, exactly. Decide earlier on.
Because it's too emotional.
It is.
Don't figure out the week before Christmas because it's emotional.
And don't tell the parents the week before.
Yeah, give them time to process.
It's too late of notice for them to adjust their feelings. Because every parent wants to see their child at Christmas.
Yeah.
But, we as grandparents have to realize, and we as in-laws have to realize, y'all have your own family and that family comes first.
So this wasn't a question, but I think it's a good thing to follow up is, all of me, Kelsey, Abby, Taylor, we're all married. Kids, we have kids, Abby and Taylor, Abby doesn't have any, but Taylor and Sarah are pregnant, so that's exciting.
Yeah.
So how has it felt like being an in-law and being a mom and going from this is what our family dynamic looks like for 20-something years and now it looks a little different?
Yeah.
How have you worked through all of those emotions of kind of knowing that your schedule's kind of changed?
Oh, absolutely. Well, your dad and I woke up this last Christmas completely by ourselves Christmas morning because usually Kevin and Kelsey were there with the kids because they were there from Texas or California, and so they just woke up with us. But we woke up completely by ourselves. But honestly, I just went in with the positive attitude and I'm going to make the best of it. And honestly, it was really nice.
Yeah.
I mean, I did miss the littles and the ho-ho-ho and all that, but it was really nice. I had my coffee. Your dad had his time to himself. And then I started getting ready for lunch. And then everybody started rolling in. So that was sort of nice. We didn't get to see you on Christmas Day this past year.
But this year you do.
Yes. So I just try. I try. It's hard.
It is.
But I try to enjoy who's at my house when they're at my house. And the ones that aren't there, of course, I miss them, but I don't just focus on them not being there.
Yeah. And then on the other side, we've done this for this year. This will be our second year. Christmas Day with one family, Christmas Eve with the in-laws or the parents, and we've swapped.
Right.
And as whosever house I'm in, I try to be present.
Sure.
Because, you can be upset that you're not with your family, but he wants to be with his family, and you also control your attitude too. So
100%.
You know what I mean? You gotta have to be okay to bend towards your husband because you want him to bend towards you.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
Anyways, that was a lot but I think it's a very real problem, not problem, but real thing that comes up in marriage.
Just a situation, absolutely.
Yeah. So all of that to say, what's this practical tip you could give the mom with the upcoming holiday season on the horizon?
Talk to your husband now before December hits, get a game plan, and then implement it.
Great.
Yep.
Well, that's it.
All right. That was quick.
Well, Mom, thank you so much for joining us on Wire Talk. We always love recording and listening to your questions and talking through them. And, so many great things come out of this podcast. But guess what? If we didn't have the questions, we wouldn't have a podcast. So make sure to send your questions to info@birdsonawire.moms.com so we can put them in the next podcast on months to come so we can answer your question. If you love Wire Talk, then please subscribe, and share with all of your friends so they can see just the wonderfulness of Birds on a Wire, because Birds on a Wire is here to encourage and equip moms in all stages of life. If you have any questions about Birds on a Wire, check our website at birdsonawire.moms.com. And thank you so much again for your questions and being with us week by week as we dive through so many great questions that not just you, but other moms have. And we are a community together. So thank you so much. And we can't wait to see you next week. Have fun at Halloween. Bye.